I'm going to take us back to a spiritual warfare question. Can you talk about some of the generational attacks that attack families?
The attack on the family, especially in the current age and our culture, can't be denied. We find even among Catholics the same divorce rate that you would among non-Catholics. The same struggles that families have that may or may not have a professed belief in our Lord can also be the same kinds of struggles we find within our own families. And it's just one more way that the enemy chooses to direct that attack, to intensify that, to keep us from not only knowing God, but from loving Him. And we need to begin to see how important it is for us, especially in the present generation, to pray for a healing that only takes one person. Whenever I talk about generational healing, I always like to explain how it only takes one sprinkler head in a garden to water it. And the same is also true of families. It only takes one person praying for the healing and the ills and the sufferings within the family for God's grace to flow through. And what makes it even more efficacious, like a garden hose that is unkinked, the more that that individual soul can be ready to receive that grace through whatever preparation is necessary for him or her, it can make that grace flow that much more freely through the sprinkler head of their soul. And it only takes one person in a family to intercede and to begin that grace and that healing process.
Father, that message is full of hope. It really is, because, I mean, you can think of families that maybe battle alcoholism or drug addiction, and it's usually not just one person, it's a whole family suffering, right? And you're saying just one person's prayers can bring the healing.
One person can do all of that in God's name. The power of God and the power that He gives to us through our prayer knows no boundaries. And even though we may not see the results that we may desire at the time, it doesn't mean that later on down the road a person might be readied in the family to receive whatever grace it is, whether it's through an addiction or some kind of obsession that may have been handed down through the generational bloodlines. At the time that person's ready to receive that grace, they can receive it as if it was just being given to them on that day. So we don't always have to see the immediate results of our prayers. In fact, like rain, we don't always see the immediate results of that rain until the end of the harvest season, where we see the bountiness of what we have invested in that garden. And the same can be true for our families. We can feel like we've prayed and prayed for decades and maybe have seen no results, but that may have been what was necessary for the healing that needed to take place within the family.